bring in now trademark lawyer Karen Kitchen, who actually specializes in trademark law and joins us now via our video link. Karen, lovely to see you. Thanks for making time for the SABC once again. So what was read out today inside court was just the order. I know there is a judgment out there which we're all yet to peruse, but I wonder what your initial reflections are given what we know so far.
Good morning, Ayanda. Yes, it's certainly an interesting development and resounding success, I suppose, for the MK party. So from what I understand, as you've rightly said, an order's been handed down dismissing the ANC's application with costs. The acting judge, I believe, handed down her order this morning, maybe 20 minutes ago. So now what the ANC has to do is determine whether they are going to make application for leave to appeal. And obviously we have limited timelines before the elections commence at the end of May. So they certainly have to make haste. And the thing is, we haven't seen the judgment yet, so we don't know the reasoning and the reasoning given by the judge for handing down this order in favor of the MK party.
Yeah, and despite that, the ANC seems to be convinced that the application itself was dismissed on the basis of a technicality. Again, it's anyone's guess whether or not that's true at the moment. But I wonder whether you reckon, stuff like that can actually happen where, you bring forward a case, you make some kind of argument around it, and the case is essentially dismissed because of process and not necessarily because of the strength of the points you were making.
Yes, so again, I can't comment until we get the judgment. Right. We can't really determine how this is going to go forward, whether it was dismissed on the basis of technical point or if there's substantive trademark reasoning that's been given here for dismissing the ANC's application with costs.
Hopefully lessons are being learned along the way. I mean, it's been fascinating for us who are not in the legal profession, who certainly don't follow trademark law as closely as you do, just about this idea of legacy, using an image or a name that you perhaps haven't built over the years, ways through which you can protect yourself legally if in fact you feel entitled to that reputation. Insofar as that is concerned, I wonder if you're drawing any of those kind of connections.
Yes, certainly. I mean, as this case has been, there've been lots of moving parts. As Ms. Coetzee from the CIPC commented on recently, the ANC took over a registered trademark that had been filed by Legacy Projects. It was assigned to them. Whether that particular registered trademark could have assisted the ANC's case is a bit of a technical argument. I'm not sure that the Legacy Projects was the bona fide proprietor of that mark when they filed it in 2014. Assuming it is a valid and enforceable right, on the basis that it is a registered trademark, that certainly could have assisted the ANC's case, because now they essentially would have had the title deed to this trademark that they have used or that they conceptualized back in the 60s. But again, and I comment on, I've said this in a previous interview, it's a question of was there interrupted use also of those common law rights when the Umkhonto-we-Sizwe paramilitary wing was disbanded in the early 90s. So there are lots of technical issues here. Certainly, the fact that they have now a registered trademark right certainly will assist them, but they have filed numerous other applications to reinforce their alleged ownership in that name, as well as the warrior device that the MK party is using.
Right. If the ANC, and this is all hypothetical, Karen, so I'll put out that caveat because, again, no one really knows how things are likely to unfold. But the ANC has already mentioned that they do intend to appeal. If they are successful in their appeal, it's likely to be after the elections. So, I mean, that course would have already bolted. What are the implications then? I mean, because we know the law's also not retrospective in that way. We can't really go back and kind of prevent the party from, I don't know, even positioning itself as the owner of MK. In your mind, just as we see things as they stand, what would be the implication of a successful appeal?
Geez, so, I mean, there's some seriously big issues here, considering that we have an election that is around the corner. And if, you know, the whole point of the ANC's case here is there's likely to potentially be an element of voter confusion. So let's, you know, it's a very technical one. Obviously, the ANC need to make application for leave to appeal first. They will either make application for leave to appeal to a full bench of the Durban High Court or to the Supreme Court of Appeal. An order then needs to be given on whether they can appeal or not. They then have to make application for lodge their appeal papers, essentially. And obviously these things take time, as you rightfully say. In the meantime, we have an election, and if there's going to be voter confusion, it may have an impact on the numbers and the outcomes of the election process. So it's going to be a very, very complex set of court papers if no appeal outcome is handed down before the election, and then the MK proceeds under their current party branding. And, you know, even if there's one instance of voter confusion, there is still confusion, and that ultimately affects the numbers of the election. So there's going to be potentially a high level of damage that is going to transpire if this matter pends until beyond the election date, which is potentially likely.
All right, Karen Kitchen, thanks very much indeed for helping us think through what I also agree are very complex issues, but still nonetheless very important issues worth thinking about. Karen Kitchen is a trademark lawyer, speaking to us there about just her initial take of what to make of this breaking news story. The High Court in Durban essentially dismissing the ANC's bid to stop the MK party from using their current name and logo. The ANC also telling us a few moments ago through its spokesperson in KwaZulu-Natal that they will in fact appeal that decision on the basis of principle, they say. We're watching the story very closely as the reaction continues to unfold. In fact, there's still a lot of activity outside the High Court in Durban. That's where you can see some jubilant members, presumably of the MK party, given that they're clad in the party regalia, who are waiting, we think, or we've been told, for some kind of media briefing. They are definitely going to be riding this latest victory all the way to the courts. It's a big story sharply on our radar. Do stay with us.